Morning. What are you doing, Doc? It's late season deer hunting. If you don't like deer hunting, don't watch this video. If you don't want to see a dead deer, don't watch this video. Shut it off, go away. Anyways, it's getting towards the end of hunting season. Our hunting season ends January 15th. They extended it a couple years ago. Everything sort of has quieted down. We see a lot less deer traffic. We have a lot fewer of the bucks, the larger bucks roaming properties. We have a ton of these small, what I call trash bucks. You know, they have weird genetics. So I had a friend come over this morning, and we're actually shifting a little bit, and we're trying to put some meat up in the freezer, and we're actually crossbow hunting. So apparently they've got one down out back. I'm gonna go, they're gonna take off, and I'm gonna go get the buck and take it over to the processor. So I wanted to pop in here with a quick note, because a lot of people have a tendency to sort of give up in the late season. And what's interesting is I was flipping through my phone and I didn't realize this. Last year I took that crazy monster buck with all the crazy rack, but the year before that was when I took, the same day I took the biggest deer I took this year off the property, that year off the property. Both pictures are taken on December 26th. I didn't realize that till like a few weeks ago, that on the exact same day is when I took the two largest deer off this property. It's almost like after the rut and then after the second rut, the deer have a tendency, those bigger deer have a tendency to start roaming a little bit, almost like a pre-rut. So don't give up on them. I mean, it's cold, it's hard hunting, but man, let me tell you what, it can really pay off. So anyways, just a quick note, thought that was cool. Here we go. So as I'm pulling up here, I saw about 3 or 4 deer, but I don't have time to wait. Normally I'd wait till a little bit later, but I got to go do all the farm chores. So what we did is, for this late season where we have a lot, this area back in here is really thick, and it's a travel zone that connects like 1,000 acres and 1,000 acres. That's what our property does. We really don't have a lot of residential deer here. So up here we have the big tall redneck skyscrapers, but right up here, right up there, I've got a pop-up blind. Can you see the pop-up blind? We put a pop-up blind up over there, and apparently the shot was where? It said about 30 yards. So the shot was about 30 yards, and the arrow is on the ground. So let's take a look here. And they used, oh, there's blood right there. Man, there's blood right there. That was a good shot. If there's blood right at the shot, oh, there's the arrow right here. So I'm using, I let them use my crossbow, and I'm using Rage, is it 2 or 2.5 inch expanding broadheads for crossbows. Oh, look at that. Is that crazy or what? Has a chisel point. There's your thumbnail right there. That is normally a white vein, so great smelling blood. But there's blood right at the shot point right here. Means it's a good hit. He said, he peeked out and he said, I think it only went like, I can see it. Dude, that's crazy. Now it's not a big deer, but so the shot was right here. There's blood right here. Arrows right here. There's the pop-up blind. That's about 30, 35 yard shot with the crossbow. And I can see the deer. I can see the deer at like 30 yards. I mean, it didn't move at all. That is crazy. That is crazy. I'm actually glad it's a smaller buck, because I got to do this by myself this morning. They needed to take off. So anyways, let me put this. I don't want to drive over all these stumps, but let's go look and see what we got back here. But There's the deer right there. Is that crazy or what? Again, it's one of these small weird where we have this genetic where we have what's called left side weak. I'll see if I can find a video, but I've got several bucks on the upper field. They have a normal rack on the right, and then on the left, it's either 1 or 2 spikes. So I said, if you see any of that, regardless of age, take that buck. And sure enough, this is what we got. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Left side weak. So the right side looks like a normal deer, and the left side's a spike. Absolutely insane. All right, so I gotta drag this guy out by myself. Thankfully, it's not that far. And thankfully, he's not that big. Last thing I need is a 220-pound buck drag out here. Oh, I'd rather not use my winch. I'd rather just pull him up there. There we go. Whew. I'll tell you what, man. Even these young bucks, man, whew, they smell musky. He's got a real musky smell to him. And it's these glands back here, too. Yes, the deer is over here if you want to see it. Very exciting. Very exciting. So what's interesting, I didn't notice this. On the back legs, the deer has something. I don't know if it's a break. I'll try to see if it's a break or what. See that on the back leg? It's actually, look at that. I can squeeze out some pus out of there. It's actually abscessed a little bit. So I don't know what that is. Some kind of injury. The rest of the deer is fine, so. All right, so I'm trying something a little bit different. I just dropped off my deer at the processor, and I'm gonna have them, I like to age my venison. So normally I would say just quarter and debone the deer. But this time I'm gonna have them age it. I'm gonna have them hang it for 7 days, then quarter and debone it. And actually we'll see how that works out. Man, it's still freezing cold out here. So my neighbors are actually away for 2 days, and they actually breed some small dogs, little border collie type dogs. And so I need to go over and feed them, and then I need to do the chickens, and it's friggin' cold. I'm gonna get some gloves. I have a Vermont Castings, which I absolutely love my wood stove, and it's really efficient. I would say one log about this size will burn for about close to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. So I really don't need to keep it burning hot. It'll actually bake us out of that house. So I just basically let it get down to red embers, then throw another log on, let that burn down. That's all I do, and it's enough heat to heat that whole lower thing, basically, whole lower floor. But I love my little log splitter, kindling maker. I like to have some smaller logs in case I need to restart it. Oh, all right, so we're cooking. You girls waiting for the fire to warm up? You waiting for the fire to warm up? You got your Christmas tree. You'll get toasty here in a minute. So it's almost 11 o'clock and it's still 36 degrees. In Georgia, this is like 10 degrees in Alaska. It's a big difference when you're in Georgia. All right, let me go take care of the chickens. And I gotta go get my batteries and my game cameras. They're, even though I have solar panels on them, I'm having to bring them in and do a little extra charging on them. But I'm trying to, there's one big buck back here who is a big wide 10 point that I'm trying to get. He only comes at night, so hopefully he messes up one day and I can get him. So here's a little tip, late season tip for you. Good intel. I have a ton of game cameras out here, and I don't think I would have got those 2 big bucks late season if I didn't have those cameras out here, because those 2 deer had not been on my property all year. I'd not seen them on the property the whole year. That crazy big buck last year, he showed up in December, and the first time I saw him on camera, I think was like the 2nd week in December, and I hunted that deer every morning and every night just about for a week and a half up in that upper stand. And then and he would leave the field by 5 or 5:30 in the morning. Then we had thunderstorms one night, and I almost didn't go hunting. I said, no, you know what? That may push him a little bit later in the morning. And sure enough, 7:12 in the morning, right at legal shooting light, he was up there with a doe. And that's the only way I got him. Again, good intel. So what I'm doing now is my batteries are having problems charging from my solar panels. I'm going to move them a little bit and reposition them. But I'm seeing that 10 point back here, and I actually saw him this morning back here at 5:30 in the morning. So I'm hoping his pattern starts to change a little bit, where he'll come out maybe a little bit later in the morning. That's the only way I got a shot at this deer. So this is the new Reveal Pro 3, I believe it is, or 3. It's not a Pro, but 3. And then a solar panel on it. The charging on these things is fair. I mean, I'm not getting direct sunlight, but... And then I got another one down here I need to move. I'm going to pop it down over here. All right, so here's my advice for late season. Number 1, don't give up on this late season hunt. What we do find is that we find, like up in our upper fields, where normally we would have deer come out there early and early in the evening and stay later during the day, they have a tendency to disappear a little bit. Where they would come out into the open woods more, they hug those sort of deep woods. So if you need to reposition, but reposition stands, even use pop-up blinds, but I'm telling you, good intel is important. So if you got game cameras that aren't catching deer, move them into those deeper areas, and I'm telling you, you'll have deer in the late season show up you haven't seen all year. It just happens. Anyways, good luck. I'll talk to you later. Doc.